Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and, well, it sucks. So, welcome.
What's going on? Welcome to This Will Never Work. I'm Lincoln, and today my guest is actually a friend of mine. We've been friends for quite some time. We used to work together. She does a lot of work with, I've already forgotten it.
Special Olympics.
Yeah, she does a lot of work with Special Olympics athletes, intellectually disabled athletes. She was also an event planner right before the pandemic hit. That kind of fell apart because there was no events that needed to be planning, and she's testing out the snowbird life. So welcome to the show today, Amanda Gushue.
Thanks so much for having me, Lincoln.
You know what? Honestly, I'm so happy to have you here. I know you also have a very harrowing tale of, I mean, you almost died recently.
Yeah, literally. In
Utah, so we'll get to that. But no, I just kind of wanted to catch up and like say hi and just hear about what you've been up to over the last, little while, and just, so fill me in.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on it. I was an event planner for a corporate real estate company here in Calgary. And 2 years ago, the pandemic hit, and one of the first industries to get hard was the events industry.
Of course.
And was let go from that right away, and just kind of took some time to think of what's next, and just kind of got into some private investments and stock trading, and so far was able to have been able to be pretty successful with that, and have been able to enjoy my time down in Arizona this winter, testing the waters as a snowbird.
Yeah, you've been having a lot of. I've been following along with all the warm fun that you've been having down there, because it's been very cold here.
It has been. So I was seeing a lot of snow and cold pictures, and was happy I was not in Calgary during those times.
Yeah, no kidding. Also, I already told Amanda this episode. So when you guys are seeing this is Monday, May 2nd or whatever. So the playoffs for the 2022 hockey season should have started already. The Flames clinched first place in their division. The Oilers clinched second place. I'm fine with it.
If you're not first, you're last. Though.
Well, come on. That's why we're wearing our respective jerseys.
Representing.
She didn't bring hers. She actually had to wear mine. So that's my jersey.
I was trying to be respectful.
I know.
It's your show. So
no, that's fine. We're not going to talk about hockey the whole time. But honestly, holy crap.
What a season.
I honestly, like I said, I don't want to talk about hockey the whole time. But I do want to touch on the fact that going into this, at the end of last season, when they hired Sutter, I thought that was I really, really looked at that as like a panic move where they were just like, you know what? Because it was Bill Peters.
Yeah.
Was the previous coach. Yeah. I'm like, wow, they are just absolutely floundering. They don't know what they're doing. They're bringing back Sutter.
Yeah. And
then Sutter at the end of last season, there wasn't much he could do because I think you guys were already so far out of the playoffs. At that, I can't really remember, but it was like too
far gone.
The season was too far gone, and they definitely did start winning more under Sutter. But again, it was too far gone. Cut to this season, I'm thinking, man, like Sutter can't make that much of a difference. Holy
complete
shit.
Turnover.
They bought into his way of doing things,
especially Johnny Gaudreau.
Absolutely
thriving under him.
Well. Yeah, I mean, you couple the fact that Gaudreau's contract year, and he's just buying into what Sutter's bringing in the locker room, and and
like you say, not just him, the entire team.
The entire team. I know on Instagram you love poking fun at the Lucic Neal trade.
How's that going?
Okay. I love James Neal. That helmet, I have my signed Oilers helmet up there. That's my James Neal helmet that I got from the locker store. I have a James Neal stick.
Okay.
I have a James Neal puck. I love James Neal. He didn't do much for us. Like, that trade did not work out for us.
No, not the real deal after all. Hey?
No, not. I still love the guy. I do. I honestly still love the guy. And I just wish it had worked out better for him and for us, but I feel like it kind of sucks because I think they bought him out, and then St. Louis signed him to a PTO. He ended up like doing pretty well in preseason, so they signed him to a contract, and then he just like went back to like real deal named James Neal, and I was like, oh man, like, and St. Louis is my other team, so I was like, man, like you just like what the hell? Anyway,
Yeah.
Luch is
Beast mode.
And I was talking to another friend who's a Flames fan about this, where I genuinely think, and I'm saying this as an Oilers fan, a lot of the Oilers fan base is super toxic. And I feel like that comes from a place where, you know, we won all those cups in the late 80s, early 90s or whatever. And, you know, they were the city of champions. I don't live in Edmonton. I don't really like the city. I like the hockey team. That's it. And so there's this like expectation for them to win. And when they don't win, the fan base just loses their mind. So I feel like because I was excited when Lucic got traded to Edmonton. I was excited.
Yeah.
But he didn't perform well.
No.
And I feel like a lot of it was his mental game with the fan base.
Well, and I think he even talked about retiring.
Yeah.
At the end of his run with the
He did.
Oilers. He was kind of checked out, it seemed.
Yep. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So he gets traded to, and it was almost like it was a 1-for-1 because their contracts were super similar. Mm-hmm. He comes to Calgary and immediately is embraced by the Calgary fan base. You guys all love him.
You hear the screams every time he touches the puck.
I've only been to one Flames game this year, and I went to the Arizona Calgary game a couple weeks ago. Yep. Every single time he touches the puck.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Everyone's just fully embraced him, loves him, and well, he puts the effort in on and off the ice.
Yeah.
He's heart. He's exactly what that organization needed, and
Yeah.
and it's showing with a season like this.
100%. Also, you guys have the goaltending. Mm-hmm. I wanted Markstrom to come to Edmonton so
That
bad.
was such a missing piece
Yeah.
for the Flames, and
Yeah.
to get him was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So, yeah, it's like I said, by the time they're all seeing this, playoffs will have started. We are hoping for I think everyone in Alberta is hoping for a Battle of Alberta second
That
round.
would be unreal.
Oh,
Can't even describe what
Oh my
the
God.
atmosphere in both cities would be.
I think the entire province would burn down.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
Like, we're talking like Fort Mac fire, but entire province burning down. Doesn't matter which team wins.
Start digging your bunkers.
Oh, yeah. You're going to need bomb shelters for sure. So, yeah, let's jump off hockey because, like I said, I don't want to talk about it all the whole time. I do love my hockey, though. Oh,
Me too.
oh my God. And, before we jump off, are you a Vegas fan?
Not really. No.
How wonderful is
karma.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How wonderful is it that they finally got ousted?
Yeah.
I was saying to a friend of mine he's not a hockey fan at all. He was like, I don't understand. He's like, I don't really get why you're excited for Vegas to not make the playoffs. I'm like, it's because Vegas fans are the most spoiled fans in the entire NHL.
Accurate. Yeah.
Like they don't know what loss is. They don't know what heartbreak is like. Mm-hmm. Now they do.
Yeah.
And not only that, I totally forgot until today. Until this morning when I was reading an article that Jack Eichel is on their fucking team. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
Another season ending without playoffs for him.
Oh my God. That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
The guy comes back from that all that bullshit in Buffalo with that injury.
Yeah.
Gets traded to Vegas. It's like, all right, Vegas is going to make the playoffs and they're going to do
Fresh
so well.
start.
No.
Didn't work out.
We'll see what happens with him next year. Vegas, oh my God, with Vegas trying to circumvent the cap too.
Mm-hmm. As I say, just karma all around for them this season.
Ooh, they did not they're gonna have to dump like 3 players to get under the cap for next season, and Eichel might be one of them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. One more hockey thing. I know I'm talking so much about hockey.
That's okay.
But
I love it.
It's like I know you do, and that's because you're one of my hockey buddies, and we riff on each other from time to time. One more thing I wanted to point out as well. One pickup for us that's working out is Evander Kane. And I know.
Yeah.
a friend of mine who is an Oilers fan, before that signing happened, his take on it was like, I do not want Evander Kane on the team. Like, I feel like that's going to be a cancer in the locker room, blah, 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 blah. For me, I was looking at it from a logistical standpoint where I'm like, well, Evander Kane, yes, with all of the stuff off the ice, fine, whatever. But from a purely hockey standpoint, that dude can put up numbers
and he can perform.
Exactly. He has played so well since we picked him up. It's insane.
Yeah, Hattie the other night.
I went to my friend's house to watch that game. I was trying to, because I have like 10 Oilers jerseys now. I was trying to decide which one to wear. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear because I got a Kane jersey. I got a Kane jersey the day. I ordered it the day he was signed. I decided to wear my Kane jersey that night. Gets a hat trick. I'm like, well, this jersey's literally not leaving my body for the rest of the playoffs.
Showering in it. Sleeping in it.
Yep, 100%. So very happy with Evander Kane. I know there's like all the drama off the ice and all that stuff, but honestly, I really hope that we're able to find some way to keep him.
Yeah,
because he genuinely looks like he's enjoying playing on the Oilers.
He does, yeah, and it's fitting him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, like. Yeah, like he had all the problems in San Jose with other players. He had problems in Atlanta. He had problems in, Atlanta into Winnipeg, him and Bufflin or whatever. And it kind of feels like he's finally found a spot where I think he's also realizing like, okay, yeah, this is like my last chance.
Yeah, and make something of it.
Yeah. So anyway, okay.
I bit my tongue. Tried to stay neutral.
You were very kind about, honestly, you were very kind about all of that. And that's all I can ask for in that one. That's for sure.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So you've been spending, you spent virtually the whole, I think you came back around Christmas time.
Came back, once for Christmas.
But you spent virtually,
back down.
Yeah, you spent virtually like the whole winter down in Phoenix, which I'm sure was amazing. You actually picked up a couple things for me in the States, which was magical. I lost my train of thought. Oh my God, I hit a pothole. Again, I haven't done this in a while.
Arizona life.
Yeah, Arizona life. So and it was you and your parents. So getting into the whole Utah thing, were you driving back?
So yeah, we decided to drive back and rather go from A to B, decided to do a few pit stops along the way. So we had seen Zion National Parks along the way, Bryce Canyon. I've always wanted to try sandboarding, and there's the coral pink sand dunes right in that area as well. So we thought we would take a few extra days and see all the sites that route offers and take that all in as well, rather than just go from Phoenix back to Calgary.
Totally, because that's a long drive.
Yeah.
The sandboarding looked really cool.
That was unbelievable. I've wanted to do that forever. And just the sand color, everything. We lucked out, had such a gorgeous blue sky. The pictures were unbelievable with the color contrast.
Yeah. So how does that work? You just like climb it yourself? And
I mean, it's kind of tricky because it's the sand's fairly deep. But yeah, you just kind of hike up to the top of the sand dune, and you can rent a board right there at their visitor center.
Oh, you did rent a board. Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, did you bring a snowboard with you? Or
constantly carrying around a snowboard in Arizona.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a super. I would say that the market for snowboards in Arizona is not very big.
However, my winter snow pants I've bought down in Scottsdale in Arizona before.
Yeah, but that makes sense because
they got Flagstaff and
totally. Yeah. Like they have a lot of that actually makes sense because they have a lot of Canadians, right?
And the snowboards.
So there is a market. Yeah, there is a market for it for sure. Because then you're gonna buy it in the States and bring it back. Yeah. That makes sense. Or I guess people that live there traveling.
Yeah.
So okay, so you go to Utah, and where? Okay, was it Zion?
Where
so like just tell me the story of like this whole ordeal. This climbing thing.
So it wasn't at Zion, it was in between Zion and Bryce Canyon.
Okay.
So we had finished a couple days at Zion and sandboarding at the sand dunes, and before Bryce Canyon I had seen that there's these Moki caves, and they're kind of a little bit of a trek up a sandstone rock formation, and they looked beautiful. And I thought, hey, how much time do we have? Could we head there in the morning before we head off to Bryce Canyon? And we said, sure, why not? Like, let's check it off while
you
we're
got the
here.
time.
Yeah. So we drove up, and there's no signs, nothing's labeled. You just kind of hike in a little bit, and then you see what looks kind of like a trail where you're kind of thinking that's where people start. And I had read prior the trails kind of classified as intermediate. It's not the easiest to begin with because sandstone's very slippery and you get that sand on the top layer and you can slide very easily.
So good shoes.
So make sure you have good shoes are a must. And what we saw was what we thought we saw with the trail. We decided to go in a bit more just to make sure. We could always go back, and we were kind of tight for time since we wanted to hit up Bryce Canyon. And after hiking in a bit more, about 5 minutes or so, we get to the bottom of these cliffs are about 88 feet up. And I saw what looked like a fairly decent route up that would save time, get us on the road quicker, check, do the Ks and be on our way. And it did not turn out to be a easier or quicker way after all. And I ended up getting stuck about 80 feet up and not knowing what to do. And it was, this is the first time I've really talked about it. This is just 2.5 weeks ago. And it was, this scariest moment of my life. I thought I was kind of traversing horizontal more and would try to make my way to the left side of this sandstone formation. And then I would go up. And from that point, I could decide if there was enough divots to climb from that area. And I hadn't realized, just because of the sandstone formation, it kind of looks like waves, if you've ever seen one of those formations before.
Well, that's what you said, is it was really hard to judge
how steep it was. So I thought I was just kind of scaling, maybe going up a few feet here or there, and you're focused on your next hand and foot move, so you're not really looking at how high you're actually going. And by the time I actually had looked down, I hadn't realized how high I had gotten, and there was no spot for my next hand move or foot move, and was literally hanging on by my fingertips and tips of my toes for about 20 minutes. And,
oh my God.
And my parents witnessing that, not knowing what to do themselves. So much happened even on the ground that I didn't even know until after, which was happening. There was a couple that had come across this and had realized the situation, and I didn't learn until after that he was 80 years old, this gentleman, and at one point, I guess he had started to go up where I went to try to get at me. His wife was losing his mind. My parents say that he's 80 years old. What is he going to do? But what a guy to risk now himself to try to get to me. And then after about 20 minutes or so, I saw there was possibly one area I could get a hand in, and from the very little rock climbing experience I have, thanks to ex-boyfriends that planned cute dates at the climbing center, I knew to at least, so I don't know whether to blame them or thank them for some of the tips that I had in this ordeal, or that instilled the false confidence in me to think I could do something like this.
Yeah, we'll split the difference on that
jury's
one.
Still out on that, but at least I had enough experience to know that you get the strength from your leg and to try to focus on your foot move first. So I'd seen kind of a little bit of a divot that I could get my foot in and kind of go for a Hail Mary to try to get my hand in that one last spot that would be able to hopefully pull me up. Like, I'm literally probably a foot or two from the top.
Oh.
Just with my height being so short, there was nowhere to go other than to try to make this last Hail Mary. So
my heart's racing. I can't even imagine.
It was, it's still hard to put in. It was, like I said, it's first time talking about it. And so I got my foot in that divot that I saw, tried to use my leg strength to push myself up and do kind of the Hail Mary grab, missed, started sliding, and how to this day still, I do not know, somehow stayed gripped with my feet, sliding down the sand, managed to find other little crevices to get stuck, and it's literally just tips of my toes and then my hands. And at that point, I was even more terrified, having just done that and thinking, okay, that was it. My legs started shaking and tremoring uncontrollably.
Yeah, I was going to ask, at this point, I'm sure adrenaline is coursing through you.
Yeah.
but you have got to be exhausted.
Oh, every single ounce of strength I had, I was using. Like I still have marks on my wrists and
Oh
my
my
knees.
God, you do.
From it. Just my neck and back, just from grabbing on so tight, and just what that did on the body as well.
Oh.
It was, and just how I made it out of it is why and how I.
Well, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. So you're holding on.
So I'm holding on after the Hail Mary. And at this point, I'm starting to think, okay, I don't have an option other than this is it, to fall.
And you're 80 feet in the air?
I didn't even realize how high I was. After I Googled how high the caverns, the caves are, they're at about 88 feet.
Okay.
And I was...
So you're probably 75. Well, no, you're probably 80 feet.
Yeah, because by the time I got to the top from... the man that ended up getting me up, it was probably about 5 feet or so to the caves.
Okay, yeah. So you're over 80 feet at this point. Oh my God.
And yeah, so at this point I'm thinking, what's the best way to fall that will give me any chance of survival and the least amount of injuries and
yeah, that's going to put you in the hospital and not in a grave.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, make sure the head's covered. But at the same time, I still have the false hope that, okay, that I knew that probably wasn't still the best option. So at this point, I'm still just focusing on hanging on for dear life, and just some type of miracle or something will happen. And right before I started to think of, okay, how do I fall? The lady of the couple that came across us stepped back a little bit, and while she did that, she was able to see at the top. And there happened to be a man probably in his late 20s, maybe early 30s, that was there. And she just started screaming for help. Said there's someone stuck right underneath,
right below you.
Right there.
Because he wouldn't have seen you.
Yeah. And then I heard his voice. So then I just started screaming for help too.
Yeah.
And he was able to get down and just grabbed onto my wrist. And at this point too, I'm still thinking, like, it's one thing if this doesn't go well for me, I don't want to bring someone else down with me. So I just like, are you sure you're okay? Like, before we do this, like, you have a good grip, you're going to be okay. Cause I don't want something happening to someone trying to save me as well. So made sure he was okay, and he was able to just grab me by the wrist. And
because that's the thing, is like, that's sometimes how those stories go, where it's just like,
one tragedy turns into two, or
Yeah.
the rescuer ends up going down as well. So yeah,
So he pulled you up.
So he's able to pull me up, and
so you're now on the top of this rock, and I know this is a stupid question, but I mean, like, what's your thought process?
I think I was in a state of shock. I think I still actually, to this day, I'm still in a state of shock to some point, and just thanking him probably 1,000 times, and just wanting to just get up there and sit down and kiss the rock. And at that point, yeah, my mind is just completely racing. I'm exhausted. My body was...
I'd be laying face down, spread eagle, on the flattest surface I could find, being like, I don't want to move from this spot for the next fucking 4 hours.
And that did cross my mind, but I thought, I'm never going to get back up if I go down.
No, it's true. That's true.
I was actually, and then I decided to, okay, do I follow him back, which would probably have been the smartest idea, to just have someone again on my way back down, and just to get back down as quickly as possible, and take the trail that is supposed to be taken.
Yeah, the right trail.
But then in my own stubborn mind, I thought, I'm up here now. I may as well enjoy these darn caves that I've almost died for. So I go, take some pictures and enjoy the caves. Okay. Well, my heart is beating still like 200 beats a minute.
Oh my God. Only you. And you know what? I knew you were going to say something like that, where, oh yeah, I still went and enjoyed the caves. Of course you did. Knowing you, 100% you did. You're like, oh yeah, you're dying on the inside, but you're like smiling for photos. You're like, I just about died half an hour ago, but I am smiling. I actually
do have a selfie.
I know you do.
You can still see the fear in my face, but yeah, I did a smiling selfie at the caves. And it's funny though too. Not funny, but you can see pictures of how we did Zion a couple days earlier, and I'm probably 1,000 feet up on a wooden, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bridge?
Bridge, thank
Okay.
you. How do you say one word sounds like
Thing you walk across joining two bridge.
So a bridge, thank you.
Five letter just
Be a
six
good
letters.
wordle. Oh, six.
Oh,
okay.
there you go. Yeah, it wouldn't be.
Wouldn't be a wordle, no. So yeah, I'm 1,000 feet up, getting on this old wooden bridge at Zion, and being the usual daredevil that I am. But the pictures of Bryce Canyon, where we went right after this cave experience, you can see I'm a little more reserved and not going near any edges.
No.
in
well,
those
and it's
pictures.
because I like knowing you as long as I have, and from like your Instagram and stuff like that, you definitely are very like you're a very outdoorsy person, and you're definitely I wouldn't say like I don't know. I wouldn't. Daredevil is probably not the word I would use, but yeah, you're definitely more adventurous.
Take some risks.
Yeah,
and live life in the fast lane a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's something that I admire about you, because I'm not that person at all. Oh my god!
And this probably slowed me down a bit. I'm definitely more cautious now.
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
No. Yeah. Well, like that, and processing all of this is why did this happen? What is the lesson from it?
Yes.
And to me, that's one of the biggest lessons is I need to slow down and not thinking I'm so invincible. And
well, yeah, because you have to be very careful, and you have to be very careful in how you're processing it too, because exactly what you just said, there's going to be trauma attached to that.
Mm-hmm.
And you being put in a situation, I am so thankful that you came out of it with
Thank you.
Basically just scratches and
some sore muscles. I'll take that any day.
100%. No broken bones. Nobody else died trying to save you. Like you the absolute best case scenario, you surviving that in every way possible. But yeah, just monitor yourself, especially if this is the first time you're talking about it, and keep telling that story, because it over time it'll morph into something that is a part of you, but also it won't carry as much weight, because I'm sure right now it's just like this terrifying thing that you're
just constantly going over and in my head. That's what one of my friends said is be careful of the mind now.
Yes.
Because you'll play it over and over, which is what is happening day in and day out. And
and I 100% I bet it is. And so just make sure you're not letting it beat you in that sense. But again, I'm so glad that I guess it was the day after you posted about it on Instagram, and I remember reading your story and knowing that you had sometimes like somebody will share something that's like a block of text and it's like they copy and pasted it from someone else, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember looking at your story and knowing in my head that you had typed it, that you had posted this, but still feeling like, oh my God, what happened to like her friend or whatever, like not accepting the fact that it was actually like this had happened to you, because literally you had been posting photos of like, oh yeah, I'm out having fun and like we're on our way home, and like that's a scary realization.
And the 80-year-old that had tried to make his way up to me, that's one of the things he said to us when I got down is be careful of how a good day can turn to a really bad day and how quickly that can happen. And that stuck with me as well too.
Oh yeah.
And then another thing too that I didn't realize at the end too is I knew my dad was at the bottom right underneath me, and I thought it was partly to help try to navigate and see if there was any places for my feet. But I was talking to my mom later and she said, Dad was underneath you to help soften the blow if it got to that. And I hate that I put not only myself through this, that I put them through it too. Like I try to talk to my mom about it. Like how did I get up so quick? Like my mom can't even talk. She's just, I don't want to talk about it. So it's, I hate that it's really affected them as well.
I imagine that it has. Yeah. And Yeah, and I haven't met your mom. I met your dad briefly once. That one day that I came over, and very nice people. Obviously, they raised you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
learn
can't
from
even,
them.
Yeah, I cannot even imagine how terrifying that was for them standing on the ground, going, "What do we do?"
What are we about to possibly witness?
And your dad, you told me that you messaged me that part about your dad. And I remember reading that and just like, I get goosebumps thinking about where I'm like, oh my God. Cause then I started to like really think about it where I'm like, holy shit. He's staring up at his daughter 80 feet in the air. And he is like, okay, this is it. Like, I would rather me go down and save her, you know, by softening the blow, by standing underneath her, and have this be like, you know, this is it. This is where it ends for me. And that is such a selfless act.
Yeah.
Like,
Unbelievable.
I don't think there's anything more selfless than a parent who is not thinking about
willing
themselves.
to do that.
Yeah. Because it's very possible that he could have survived as well. Like, how old's your dad?
65.
Okay, yeah. So he's still fairly young. Like, he's not like he's 65. So it's possible that he could still survive you falling on him and you both wind up in the hospital, but it's like you're going to recover a lot quicker from your injuries than him, and it's possible that he could have been in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. You know, or God forbid, dead, right? Like, and so,
so much could have happened, and to make that decision is pretty amazing.
And you don't have much time, so it's like he probably, I mean, he's known you your whole life, so he's making that decision instantaneously. As your dad, he's like, nope, like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make this easier for her. Yeah. And that's the beauty of
start
dads.
shopping for Father's Day.
Oh my God. You owe them so much. Like, Mother's Day is coming right up. It's in May, isn't it?
All of the holidays, yeah.
Oh my God. The next Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, like
all
Christmas.
All of the holidays, yeah.
Oh my God. Even Halloween, you're going to have to like really pull out all the stops. And it's so funny because like I know it's all jokingly, but like you would like joke with me about, oh, the roommates are here, but you know, because like they had sold their house and moved in with you for a little while, and I know you're not actually genuinely complaining. You're deep. You love the fact that they moved in with you for a while. I know that you did because I think you live alone, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah, so like of course you were like, I have people living like
in a pandemic, where you're not seeing too many people anyways to have that extra company.
Totally.
And I mean, like I've said before too, you have situations in life where you wish you spent more time with people, and I'll look back on this, what was supposed to be 2 weeks of being roommates that turned into...
Was it only supposed to be 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, they thought they'd find a house within weeks in this Calgary housing market.
Well, and that was before the market got real crazy.
Yeah, so they wanted to take advantage of the selling market, which they did, and
that's good.
And then the buying market was not in their favor. I think they put in 3 offers, over price, over list, didn't even come close. Nope. So, and then we went down to Scottsdale, Arizona, and enjoyed the snowbird life. So
thankfully,
I can't complain that they're in my house in Calgary, and I can take advantage of their living space down there. And
so they weren't even with you in Arizona for most of it?
No, they were.
Oh, they were. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just looking back, I'm just gonna enjoy this, that we were able to have this time together and have these memories and different experiences, whether they were traumatic or not. Well, maybe try to get rid of that part, but but the living situation and all of that for all of it, those are good memories to be able to have.
No, that's good. And I just think it's funny, like the little jokes where you're like, yeah, they're moving in with me. You know, I like the 2 week part. I didn't realize it was only supposed to be for 2 weeks, and it was like, 6 months.
And they just got a house this week.
I was gonna say, like, well, yeah, because you were supposed to be here last week, but they got. How's the new house?
They don't have possession yet. They get possession mid-May. But yeah, it's great. Everything.
Because you guys
pretty
did the
much they
home
were looking
inspection.
for. Yeah,
That's
so
good.
Home inspection passed, and yeah, they're
Beautiful. Well, that's good. I'm glad that they still have a daughter and that they got their new house and they're moving in. Is it like did they downsize? Is
yeah,
that
they
what
just
did?
wanted to downsize, so they were looking for a walkout bungalow, and as was apparently everyone else in this city. So
The market is just
it's nuts.
I have right before it got crazy, I had a friend who was living almost across the street from me in the townhouses, and he sold his house. He listed it, and he sold it pretty quick. He sold it within I don't think it wasn't like in one day, but he sold it I think it was within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he wound up selling it for like 10 grand more than he listed for. And I was like, that's crazy. Cause so you would ask me like when you got here, when we moved in December of 2019.
Yeah.
This was a spec house that was being built in, it was like half done in August when we bought it of 2019. So this is when the market was like in the shitter. We didn't know that. So we got a really good price on this house, and that's why my wife wanted it. So we just kind of signed the papers and we were like, great, yeah, we're moving. And it all happened very quickly. And I was like, ooh, I guess we're going to list our house. So we listed our house in August of 2019. And we had so much trouble selling our house. It is crazy. Thankfully, we broke even on our townhouse, but we listed in August. We were supposed to move in here in November of 2019. We didn't sell until December of 2019.
Oh, wow.
It was listed from August to December. It was crazy.
Jeez.
We were bordering on being in breach of contract for the new house. So they were going to start charging us daily interest for the house. So it was going to work out to be about $9 grand a month.
Jeez.
Yeah. Which like that's 9 times the mortgage, like 8 times the mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can't afford that. They could also sue us for being in breach of that contract. They granted us like an extra 2 weeks, thankfully, of grace. We were like, cool, thank you.
How kind.
Yeah. And then, so like it got so bad, like we could have lost both.
Jeez. Unbelievable.
Like getting sued, like, yeah. And the thing is they're like, well, they were like, just carry both. And we're like, we can't carry both because stupidly we need the money from the old one to put into the down payment for the new one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So lesson learned, don't ever buy a house before you've sold your old house. Nobody has that problem right now. Well, a little bit. The market's kind of cooled off a little bit, but a month ago, oh my God.
My parents are putting in offers over list and not even coming close, and people are selling without conditions.
Yep.
So not even having a home inspection.
Nope.
And those are the type of people winning the bids. Is
Yeah.
not only over list, but
no.
agreeing to no home inspection, which is nuts.
It
Who would
is-
buy a house without a home inspection?
I know, it's stupid. And yeah, that's the thing. Like a few of our neighbors sold their houses, and I know one across the street. I'm pretty sure they sold for like close to 750.
Yeah.
And I didn't pay close to 750 for my house. So I'm like, a friend of mine came over at one point, and he like, the first thing he said when he came to the door, he's like, you realize you could sell your house for like 800,000. I was like, yeah, but where am I going to live?
Same with vehicles right now too. I was thinking of selling my vehicle. It's like, yeah, I could. They're desperate for used vehicles now. Sell it pretty darn quickly, and then what, to replace it with a $90,000 dollar vehicle
or like a $30,000 shit box?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna? Yeah, it's pandemonium out there, and it's all because there's the chip shortage, there's supply chain issues, there's all these like crazy.
It's all snowballed. Yeah.
It all snowballed, and then on top of that, you have this like crazy inflation where companies are like, oh yeah, it's every single company's like, we're having record profits, but we're also raising our prices. And it's like, oh yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like the working class and like the generation, we're just getting absolutely raked over the coals right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's not going to get any easier.
No.
It's only going to get more and more difficult. The rental market is crazy. So people that are renting houses and like, see, I will never ever take the fact that I own a house for granted.
No.
And I know there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say is like, we cannot take that for granted because people of our generation just shouldn't be able to afford houses. Like, and will never be able to afford houses because that's just the trend and the way it's going. So, I count myself among the very lucky in terms of like, you know, just the way life is gone.
Privileged.
Yeah. And I don't ever want to take that privilege for granted because, it's
times
just,
are tough.
Oh my God. And the government doesn't make it any easier.
No.
And it's just like, what I don't understand is like, why does it have to be that difficult out there? And like, why does everything have to be that expensive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's like, why does the fact, like, I get it. Vehicles get more expensive as you put more technology in them and stuff like that for sure. But doesn't technology also get cheaper as we go?
You would think, yeah.
Like VCRs when they first came out were $500, but I got a VCR for free, you know, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, or, you know, at a certain point, you're buying VCRs for $20. You're buying DVD players, you know, all that stuff. TVs gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And then as they get thinner, they get more expensive as they get more pixels, blah, blah. But then they also get cheaper. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just, is it corporate greed in some ways?
I would say so. A lot of it. Yeah. I mean, and Calgary's we're still pretty lucky to have the market we have. You look at Vancouver and Toronto and it's insane in those cities. And yeah, just when will it get better and how can it get better?
You cannot live in Vancouver unless, well, I mean, you can. The thing with living in Vancouver is you're either incredibly wealthy or you have zero money because all your money is going to being able to pay for a house.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I know in Vancouver. Like you either like make a really good amount of money or you have nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cause I love visiting Vancouver, but I could not live here.
No. Yeah.
It's just the sushi's good.
They have that. Yeah.
They have really good sushi.
They do have really good sushi.
I love sushi. But yeah, I could never live there because it's too costly.
Yeah.
And the same with Toronto. I don't like Toronto because it's too congested. You know, it's more like it's closer to like a New York than like Vancouver's
much
a lot
bigger
more.
city and
for sure. Vancouver's a lot
life.
more easygoing.
Yeah.
And it's on the water.
How's that for them going?
Yeah.
Going for them at least.
Yeah. But it gets, oh my God. It gets really hot.
It does.
It's really hot and humid.
And humid, yeah. It's the humidity that gets you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the humidity that gets you. But so to that point, if you could live anywhere else in Canada, where would you live?
Oh, I've always just had a warm spot for Calgary. Like there's never a moment where I've thought of living anywhere else in Canada.
Have you lived in Calgary your whole life?
I have, yeah. I've been born
sense.
and raised. And it's just, I mean, we have the mountains, I just love the people here, the city. You have a great downtown life, but you can also live out in the burbs and kind of get away from the big city life. You have the farms, it kind of has everything that I'm looking for at least. And it's just a great city, I think,
You're a rarity nowadays. And my wife too. She's born and raised Calgarian too.
There's not too many people here, that are born and raised.
Most people that live in Calgary, the majority of people that live in Calgary are interlopers. Like they're just from other places. So, so a lot of people from out east that moved out here for like oil booms and stuff like that.
Saskatchewan.
Yep. It's crazy. It's, You're 100% right. And that's why Calgary boomed the way it did, is because the mountains are right there. And I'm Alberta born and raised. I'm not Calgary born. Like I was born in Grand Prairie. And then we moved to Calgary in 97.
Yeah.
And so I've spent the majority of my life in Southern Alberta. Would never change that.
Yeah.
I love it. A friend of mine, we drove to Golden and back a couple days ago because he was buying a bike off somebody in Golden.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, because they have the highway closed.
So you have to go the long way.
Yeah. So we had to go through Radium. So it adds like an hour and a half each way, which
Yeah.
is just like, we could have done it. We honestly could have done the drive in 5 hours there and back. But, anyway, he asked me, because we were driving through and he was like, oh, like I could live here. Like, this is beautiful. Like, in like some of the countryside of British Columbia. And I was just like, yeah, like I get what you're saying. I love BC, but I don't know, man. I was like, I love visiting. I don't think I could ever live here because I love Alberta. I've always loved Alberta. And he's like, yeah, but like when it gets really cold, it's just like, what do you're kind of like, why do I live here? And it's like, yeah. I ask myself for the days when it's stupid cold, why do I live here? Like, why am I doing this? You don't ask that because you're in Phoenix. But for those days, it's just like, yeah, like, why do I put myself through this? But I mean, okay, you can go visit Phoenix. You can go.
But even spending the winter down in Arizona, I did miss the cold and I did miss the snow. So it all has its place. I mean, you don't want minus 30-degree weather week on end.
No.
But it's nice to kind of hibernate and get cozy, pour some hot chocolate and enjoy staying in for a couple days. And I mean, back to Vancouver too, the rain all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
It's miserable.
Yeah.
It is absolutely miserable. It's nice.
When it's not raining.
Yeah, it's nice. Well, it's wonderful when it's not raining. No, but it's like, if it's like the dead of winter in Calgary and you fly to Vancouver and it's just like raining, you're kind of like, oh, this isn't bad. I just need a light jacket. Like I don't need like a full on snowsuit. But yeah, like to live there, I know I've talked to people that have lived in Vancouver their whole lives and they're like, yeah, I don't really like the winter because it's like, it's overcast the whole time and it's very, very like everybody's gloomy.
Yeah.
It's like Silent Hill all the time. And you're just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
If we want to head out to the mountains or a lake or head to Vancouver, we can. But I just, as a home base, I love Calgary.
Yeah.
And wouldn't change that.
No. And, no. And I also, cause I know that you also spend time you and I both like Mara Lake. That's another thing that we have in common.
Yeah.
Cause I have a friend who has a cabin on Mara Lake. So I've spent a lot of time in Mara Lake. And that's another thing where it's just like, it's easier to go to Mara Lake from here than it would be driving from Vancouver because it's longer from Vancouver.
Yeah.
And yeah, like that's another thing that I love because there's lots of Albertans that, especially at that lake in the Shuswap.
It's only 5 hours away from here. And
super easy drive. Yeah. Well, once the highway's done. And, it's just beautiful territory. And again,
it's not overdeveloped. No. You can go for a wakeboard or a water ski at any time of day and still be able to find calm water.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. And you can just, it's, yeah, you're right. This is home base is good. And then just visiting other places. Yeah. I agree with that.
And yeah, from our old, past employment, we've been able to travel. We've traveled a ton, and
oh my God, so much.
Every time I'm happy to come back to Calgary. Love seeing the world and going different places, but I always love coming home.
I get weirdly homesick. I don't even like. It's funny. I don't even live in Calgary, but I'm Calgary adjacent, so I get into Calgary almost every day. When I was working up north in Fort McMurray, I would get weirdly homesick just to like, I just want to go drive around. I want to go like drive down Shaganappi. I want to go drive down. Yeah. Like, I just want to go see the part where I'd be like, and I think it was because I couldn't, right? Where I was just like stuck at work. And, so yeah, periodically when I leave the area, I get like weird. I'm like, I just want to go cruise around Stony Trail.
Yeah.
And just go see Because like, oh man, the city is beautiful at night, and it is a really nice city.
Yeah, you can get the northern lights here.
Oh yeah, I know we're like stroking off Calgary so much. This is like a tourism video for Calgary, where it's like, come
pitch it to them after this.
Come live in Calgary. We have the Stampede and all the other good stuff. Kay, tell me more about. So, how did you get involved with the Special Olympics and like the athletes and stuff?
So yeah, one of my friends was coaching one of the basketball programs and invited me one day, and I immediately fell in love with the programs and the athletes and everything that the organization offers, and finished that season up with them and coaching one of the basketball teams here in Calgary. And then the following season, when it was time to sign up, I looked into hockey and then later golf as well. Just it's more of my background and more of skill set that I'd have to hopefully offer those athletes. And
right, because you are a hockey player. I guess that's something that we haven't mentioned yet. You're a feisty hockey player too. You have your like PIM record's pretty high.
I know
bit. You like to boast about spending time in the penalty box. I know you do.
Me? No.
Me?
No.
I'm not gonna fight anybody.
No,
I didn't rip her helmet off in Jersey.
Why are the refs so obsessed with me?
Oh yeah. Why the refs so? Yeah, that's what it is. Fuck. So that's cool. Okay.
So I got involved then with their hockey programs, their indoor floor hockey and golf in the summer, and absolutely love it. I mean, the athletes, the other coaches, the organization, it's unbelievably rewarding. I learn as much, if not more, from the athletes themselves than what I'm hopefully teaching them. And it's just, I mean, you can't even explain it. Their energy, their positivity. You can go in having a bad day, and just being around those athletes for 5 minutes, it just completely boosts the energy and positivity. And it's something special. Like, you've got to see it for yourself almost. Like, just you think our life is tough, and then you see what they face every single day and how they do it with a smile on their face. It's just truly remarkable and commendable for. And
they adore you.
They
adore you. They are constantly like,
it's mutual. I absolutely adore all of them as well. And
I see a few of the kids there. They comment
they're on
all
my social media.
Yeah,
yes.
They comment on all your Facebook stuff, and they comment on your Instagram stuff, and they just adore you.
It's cute. Yeah, they're pretty special.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I guess through the pandemic, has that's obviously slowed down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, programs like everything else were canceled, and we kind of pivoted and went into online programs. Okay. So that was really important, was just kind of keeping them, giving them a way to engage and have something to look forward to each week. And we were able to come up with a program that through video Zoom, we were able to do kind of fitness classes, stock talk strategy, and just kind of keep them engaged, and just the social aspect. We'd always end each of the classes with a 10-15 minute social time for the athletes, and that means the world to them. Just to be around virtually with their friends and have conversations and have something to look forward to each week was huge for them. And I'm glad that that Special Olympics was able to keep that going during the pandemic. Is it
still going on?
They were back to in person.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So we did a gradual return with masks, and then unfortunately, when I went to Arizona, I had to step away briefly. But yeah, they got back to full programming.
That's good. So now that you're back in town, are you going to kind of like pop in every once in a while?
Oh yeah, for sure. The hockey season has ended for now. But yeah, definitely gonna.
Well, I was gonna say golf must be starting.
Golf will be starting up, and then I'll definitely be signing up for hockey again next season.
Are you sticking around next winter? Or are you gonna?
We'll play it by ear, but
yeah, we'll play it. So hockey for you, I guess. Was it just kind of like a beer league thing, or what were you doing?
So yeah, I mean, I played hockey in college, and then kind of moved there for women's hockey. There's not much movement after kind of college level to go. I wasn't good enough to play for Team Canada or
it's
anything
like either
like
Team
that.
Canada
or bust. And I just play, and it's
which
called,
is brutal. Like the WNH.
Don't get me started on it. Yeah.
There's like, I love women's hockey. I mean, I love hockey in general, but holy crap, I've watched some really good women's hockey games.
And I think they're starting to get the momentum.
Yeah.
They're starting to get taken more seriously, which is good. And
Yeah.
the Olympics obviously help seeing some of those games. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that women can't make a living playing the sport.
No, and well, are you familiar with oh my God, what's her name? The CEO of Barstool Sports?
Oh, Erica
Nardini.
Yes.
That's what it is. Okay. She was posting about wanting to start a league and like owning a team and like all, and I think that would be, I don't know if they're actually doing it or what. I don't know if it was just like a Twitter thing.
Yeah, she kind of talked about it for a while, and it's kind of gone silent a little bit. So I don't know if.
But that's the thing. Like sometimes when things go silent, I wonder if it's just like they're like waiting to launch.
That's what I'm wondering.
Because I feel like if they weren't waiting to launch something, she'd still be talking about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're gonna see something announced in the summer, like leading into next season, which would be really cool.
For sure, it would be a good brand to launch that.
100%. Oh, it'd be a massive brand to launch, and they're the right people to do it too, because they're. I don't always agree with everything that they do, but they're the loud mouths that would do it.
Yeah, that would wake some people up too.
Oh, for sure. And you're 100% right. Like women who want to. So, a friend of mine, they're also Flames fans. So her husband's not into hockey at all. She's really into hockey, and they have 2 kids. They have a girl who's 8 and a boy who's 5. Now, Izzy, their girl, she's been on skates since she could walk.
Yeah.
And she plays hockey. I should actually introduce you to her.
Yeah, for sure.
She loves like she's gone to more hockey games probably than I ever have in my entire life. She lives and breathes hockey.
Yeah.
She's down in 1 second. I 100% want to do that. I'll call you back though in a bit, okay? Yeah, call me back. Okay, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Yeah, my brother just had a baby
awesome.
On
Congrats.
Sunday?
That's awesome.
Baby boy, yeah. So Archer Robert Constable. Nice. So that's
exciting stuff.
Yeah. A little edit point. So anyway, Izzy, she's been on skates since she could walk. She's been to so many, like, she plays hockey. She's playing hockey. She's small for her age. Her mom is small too, so like she's gonna be small in stature her whole life. But she's playing hockey with girls that are older than her and like in a higher division than she should be in, because she's down in the basement.
And...
Yep. Shooting pucks into the net. Like she's literally practicing every day, I think.
Wow.
Like,
good for her.
Yeah. So to that point of like women being able to make a living playing hockey, I would love that, because purely for her and that generation of girls to be able to grow up in a world where that is a viable career option. Like I could go play in a league that, go play hockey and because it's the thing I love to do, and not, have to worry on the other end about having another job because you can't, and it's like, obviously NHL stars, it is what it is. Like the NHL is just, it's an elite league, and obviously they pay them what they pay them and stuff like that. But it's time that, women get their fair shake of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And whether you agree with Barstool Sports and the Eric Nardinis in life, it's just another option that it's going to bring.
Yeah.
And just spotlight on the issue as well. So yeah, I really hope something comes from it, and
not just
the
hockey.
Momentum keeps going and building, and
totally.
Yeah.
Not just hockey.
Not just
basketball,
hockey, yeah. All
lacrosse,
women's sports.
All women's sports. It's like baseball, like anything, because I know there's a lot of people out there that'll probably disagree, but like, you know what? Women's sports are equally as good as you know, the men's leagues too.
And entertaining, absolutely.
Absolutely, they're entertaining. And we prove that every single time the Olympics comes around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? When they pulled the NHL stars out of the Olympics, it was like, what was the point of even watching men's hockey? How boring
were a lot of those games?
Yeah, the women's hockey was amazing. It has always been amazing, right? And I mean, we're obviously cheering for Canada to win gold in both men's and women's, but it's like, yeah, like I'm going into that going, all right, let's go women. The man, I'm kind of like, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, so I want that for her generation.
Absolutely,
she's 8 now, so it's like, you know, by the time she's 18, it would be good to, you know, have something there where, you know, she could get drafted into a league and actually, you know, like sign a contract and be making a decent amount of money.
Look forward to that and have something to aspire to, and
then I can have her jersey hanging up in my jersey.
Absolutely,
wall.
Yeah.
You know, like I know, like honestly, I would get like a framed jersey, you know, stuff like that. Like,
even just going into Sport Check, you can buy a Gaudreau or a Kachuk jersey, but where's the Wickenheiser? Where's the Campbell? Where's the, you know, like where's the women's hockey jerseys?
Well, you got to get them custom made.
Yeah.
And if you're getting, then the other thing too with that is if you're getting a Wickenheiser or you're getting a Campbell or you're getting like a women's hockey jersey, it's a Team Canada jersey.
Yeah.
Not a not a women's team.
Yeah.
Like jersey. So yeah, that's I think that's something that I agree with you. I hope that kind of changes. It'll be interesting to see where it goes over the next little while, because I do feel like there is like a shift coming.
Yeah.
And whether Barstool starts it or whatever, like there is a shift coming, and it needs to happen. So it'll be good.
And then, back to your original question, I'm just playing in a league called SAHA. It's the Southern Alberta Women's Hockey Association. So there's different tiers, different levels. But it's nothing too competitive. Or
you're in the super feisty division?
I'm in the super feisty division. Lots of pims and
I was
suspensions.
Gonna say, like, what is? Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
I haven't played the last 2 seasons, so I've given the refs a little bit of time off and.
But I mean, like,
chance to focus on someone else.
Yeah, you've gotten suspended too. Okay, what are you doing on the ice that's like getting you suspended?
I'm always the one that's looking up for my teammate. Like I don't necessarily think I'm the one that's always starting stuff, but if you want to start stuff, I'll finish.
So you're, oh my God. So you're an enforcer?
Some will joke and disagree, and some will definitely disagree with that statement. But I would say
you're an enforcer.
That's an accurate word.
That's awesome. No, like, to me, that's awesome. Cause you're not one of those people that's like, fighting shouldn't be in hockey.
No.
Okay, good.
No, I think body checking should be allowed in women's hockey as well.
Oh, they don't body check?
No, we're not allowed any contact.
At all?
No. That's another thing I've been advocating for, that we should be able to do as well. But
yeah, it's not like, that seems weird.
Double standard.
You know who made that rule? A man. Guaranteed. Like, no, they're going to hurt each other.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding? Like,
break a nail.
They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
They're going to beat the shit out. Honestly, I bet you guys could beat the shit out of each other way more than some of the guys in the NHL could beat. Although, okay, I'll have to find it and see if I can put it up on the screen for the podcast. But that photo of Luch in the Nashville game, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Stay off the tracks.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that right there is the exact reason why I missed that dude on our team.
Yeah.
And I wish I wish he had been treated a little bit better.
That was sending a message loud and clear.
Holy shit.
I would not want, would not want to be on the receiving end of one of Luch's hits.
Nashville, and you know what? Nashville's in the playoffs. Wait, who?
It's between, Nashville and Dallas just clinched. So I think it's
because we're playing LA in the first round.
That's guaranteed. Yeah, I think it's still they haven't figured out whether it's going to be Dallas or Nashville yet. They're both in, but we don't know. Yeah, because
Dallas needed. I think they took it to overtime, and they just needed 1 point to clinch.
Yeah, so Nashville and Dallas have clinched, but the spot isn't set yet.
Who would you rather play? I know it's
I loved that. I mean, that game was incredible. So I would love to see a series
yeah,
of
but
that.
yeah.
But that might be too nail biting for first round. I think I would actually prefer Dallas. Just because Nashville, that was a little too close. They've taken every other game against us this season too.
Fair enough.
So I think I would ideally want to see Dallas.
Yeah, that's fair.
Round.
Yeah.
Although Nashville now has the injury with the goalie now as well, possibly.
Wait, who? Riddick?
No, Riddick had to come in. Saros?
Oh, Saros.
Saros, yeah. He got injured at the end of the game. So,
Was it
and they say
Saros?
he's missing the last 2 regular season games. So actually now maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe we want to see Nashville and bring on Riddick.
Yeah, because like how funny would that be? Like, well, okay, yeah, because when my friend was saying at that Nashville game, I didn't watch it because we were driving back from Golden. She was texting her husband updates for me because he doesn't like hockey, but she knew that I wanted to know. Yeah. She says Calgary tied it up with 1/10 of a second left, take it to overtime, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I don't want Calgary getting more points, but I guess whatever. They clinched first. Yeah. And then she said Calgary won thanks to Riddick. And I was like, what? Yeah. I was so confused because I'm like, wait, what do you mean thanks to Riddick? I'm like, first of all, and he doesn't know what the hell is going on because again, he doesn't know hockey.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm driving at this point, and I'm trying to it's like a beautiful mind in my head where I'm trying to figure this out.
Piece it together.
And I'm like, wait. I'm like, because he said Riddich. He was like, yeah, she said thanks to Riddich. And I'm like, wait. It's
back up.
First of all, it's Riddick. And second of all, I'm like, Riddick's not even on the Flames anymore. And third of all, Riddick's a goalie. So how did
this happen?
I was like, wait a minute, is Riddick still on the Flames? And I was like losing my mind because I was like, I thought they traded him. And how would he have scored for the Flames and won the game? Is there another Riddick that's on the Flame? I'm very confused. So then she rewound it at home and like sent him a video of it happening with Riddick in net for Nashville and just letting that puck sneak past him. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Riddick won them the game. I get it. Really funny. I don't know. I kind of, as much as, I mean, I think a Battle of Alberta second round. Would be money. Absolutely crazy.
Get a babysitter, take the week off work, like buckle up for that series if it happens.
Oh, I mean, I probably won't even podcast. Well, I'll probably have to podcast that week. Just I'll be live streaming the whole 24/7 the whole week. Just like I don't know, I don't know what's gonna happen. Oh my god, just like trying to drink coffee and.
Can you imagine if that happens? This province would go insane.
Because has it ever happened?
Not
I feel
for
like
years.
I was gonna say I feel like the last time it happened was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like the last time it happened was when Calgary won the Stanley Cup in '89.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while.
Because I think they faced each other. I want to say that Calgary and Edmonton faced each other. Well, and it's possible that it's happened since that, but I know that in that playoff series where Calgary won the Stanley Cup, I know that they faced the Oilers and they beat them in like the second round and then went on to win it.
Yeah.
And then the next year, because Edmonton had won it 2 or 3 previous to that. Yeah. Have you been to Rogers Place?
I have. It's so beautiful. Nice. I'm jealous. I'll give the Oilers that. They've got a good home barn.
And like the little mini hockey Hall of Fame and like, it's just where they do the press conference. Yeah. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, they thought of everything.
They did. And we stayed, Krista and I, when I took her to a game finally, we stayed at the JW Marriott that's attached to the, yeah. That was
stumbling distance.
Well, because before that, I had been driving up. So the way I've been doing it is I've been driving up and driving back the same day.
Oh, okay.
Long days because it's like, depending on traffic.
6-hour round trip.
Well, yeah, depending on.
Or how heavy your foot is. Yeah,
that too. Depending on traffic. Yeah, it's about a 6-hour round trip. And after the games, because I park in the one lot that's really close, If I don't leave before the end of the third period, I get stuck in that lot for an hour trying to get out because of traffic. And so it's a long day. It's sometimes I've had games that were like 10-hour days.
I believe it. I've done that for concerts.
Yeah.
Driven up and driven back that night.
And it's
not fun.
I did it 9 times,
Jeez.
8 times there and back. And then
that's commitment.
Well, now that I've stayed there, well, yeah, I mean, you got to represent. Now that I've stayed there at the hotel and done that,
it's going to be hard to do the round trip in one day again.
I ruined myself for it. I was like, oh man. Also, I'm pretty sure, because we went to the St. Louis Blues Oilers game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I fucked up because I 100% know the St. Louis Blues were staying in that hotel. And when we got there, there was a bus parked out front that was loading up all the luggage. And I wasn't using my fucking head because...
You're an Oilers fan, so of course. Just had to get that.
You're lucky I love you. They had gotten there the night before and stayed at the JW that night. And then they were hopping on the bus and driving to Calgary.
Oh, right.
I didn't look at the schedule properly. So in my head, I was like, oh, yeah, they'll be staying at the JW. I was like, they'll stay at the same night we are there. No, when we were getting to the hotel and checking in, all the, like, guaranteed, like 3 of the guys I saw walking through the lobby in suits, I was like, those are hockey players.
Yeah.
So what I should have done is I should have put my St. Louis jersey on and I should have stood in the lobby and waited.
Fanboyed out.
Well, I had my Ryan O'Reilly jersey with me, and I should have waited for Ryan O'Reilly to come downstairs to put his luggage on the bus and get on the bus, because they were taking the bus over to the around to the arena.
Yeah.
And then so it was sitting there waiting for them to drive to Calgary after the game, and I was like, I realized that the next day. I was like, I screwed that up.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah. And that's why I brought my Ryan O'Reilly jersey with me, because I wanted to get a picture with him and get him to sign it.
Yeah.
Screwed that up. Anyway, I will not make that mistake next time, because now I understand it. All I had to do was look and see that they were playing Calgary next. And I would have realized, oh no, they're
leaving right after the game.
They're leaving right after the game because it's a 3-hour drive. Anyway,
lesson learned.
Yeah, lesson learned. Yeah, I really want to stay at that hotel again, because the room was like tiny, but it didn't matter. It was like the arena is right there. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And I feel like Calgary deserves that. The same kind of convenience and luxury in terms of arena.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that you guys don't, hate watching your team sitting on plastic chairs that you think are going to break.
And every concert passing by Calgary.
That's the part I think I hate the most.
Yeah,
I'm like, I would like to go to some of these shows.
Yeah.
But
yeah, at least we still can watch the Flames play hockey, but we can't see any decent concert. Just skips right on by.
Rage Against the Machine is like one of the only concerts that's like actually booked at the Saddle Dome.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting. I bought those tickets in 2019.
Jeez.
And they keep it was supposed to be they had moved it to June of this year. I don't know. They keep moving it, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm ever gonna see it.
Yeah.
I bought those. I don't think I'm ever gonna see that concert, and I really want to see Rage. It'll happen. It's fine.
Just don't go rock climbing.
I'm so glad you're alive. That's really the best way I can put it. I'm really glad that you came out of that okay, and that
Me too, yeah.
Maybe you learned a little something out of that.
Definitely learned some lessons, and just
oh my God.
I mean, I'm not a religious or spiritual person as you can attest to.
I'm not, yeah.
But it really has you thinking, like, someone was definitely looking out for me. Like,
well, I'm not super religious, and I'm not like overly spiritual, but I do definitely feel like things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely feel like this is totally off topic, but this was like a happens for a reason moment. Yesterday, Krista booked our 3rd vaccine booster. Mm-hmm. We hop in she like booked it for like 15 minutes after she had booked it. So we were like, oh, let's hop in the truck and just go. So we hop in the truck, we leave, and then she's like doing this reading, and she's like, oh, I guess they're advising people to wait like 3 months after you've had like a positive COVID test and like 6 months after your last booster. So we're within that 6 month thing, but we had COVID last month.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, I guess we shouldn't be getting our booster. Right. And so I was like, oh my God. I was like, you dragged me out of the house for no reason during rush hour. So now suddenly I'm like trying to weave my way through this like rush hour traffic that I was just I was like, not like, but I wasn't mad, but I was just kind of like, what was the point of this? Like, So I was like, you know what? Like, she wanted to get a Starbucks. So we went and got Starbucks, and then we were making our way home. And on Friday, Canada Post I had gotten a notification from Canada Post that a package that I'd been waiting for was delivered. Went to my mailbox. It was not there. Okay. And contacted Canada Post. I was talking to another guy that was delivering packages. They don't know where this thing is. And we're all very confused as to what happened, because it was like, it's in your community mailbox.
Yeah.
Not there. So we go and we do this lap, and we're driving back into the neighborhood, and I see the mailman at a different mailbox. And I thought, should I just go and talk to him and just see what he thinks?
He knows anything.
Yeah. And Krista was like, because I stopped at our mailbox, checked again, nothing there. And so I'm like, should I just go and talk to this guy? And Krista's like, yeah. So we turn around and we drive back. And so I park the truck behind him. I get out, and he's got a truck that's got like a cover on the back. He's standing on the tailgate of his truck, and he's leaning into the back, and he's like, just kind of messing around with all the stuff in the back. So I get out of the truck, and I kind of like approach. I don't want to be like super scary or whatever.
Startle him.
I don't want to startle him, but I walk up and I'm like, hello. And I say that, and the guy doesn't react at all.
Oh, geez.
I'm like, okay. So I'm like, oh, like maybe he thinks I'm talking to somebody else. Right.
Yeah.
And so I kind of look back at Krista in the truck, and she's like, say hi. And I was like, I did. So then I walk back over to the my truck, and I'm kind of standing there talking to Krista, and I'm like, I don't know, like I said hi, they didn't really react.
Yeah.
So he kind of finally jumps out, and he's just like doing a thing, and I was like, oh, I like walk over, I was like, how, and he was like, oh yeah, go ahead and like get your mail. I was like, no, I want to talk to you. And he's like, oh, I'm deaf.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
So now suddenly I'm like, okay, you're deaf. And so I don't know ASL, I don't know sign language. So I'm like, okay, so how do I approach this? So I immediately pull my phone out, and I start typing in a notepad, and I'm like, package on Friday, gone missing. I'm like, do you read lips? He was like, a little bit. And I was like, okay. So I'm like typing in the thing, and I'm showing him, and he's like, the sun's out. And so he's like, he's like reading. He's like, okay. He's like, where? I'm like, around the corner, like, told him my address. And he's like, okay. He's like, meet me at that mailbox. I'm like, okay. So we drive around, we go to our mailbox. He opens it up, and he's looking. He's okay. Opens the other one up. He's looking. He's like, okay. And then he's like, what's your address again? And he takes my phone. He's typing into it. He's like, was the parcel carded? I said, no. It said it was in the mailbox, and it wasn't there. And so it was just like a neat interaction with it. Cause like I'm trying to remember if ever in my life I've interacted with somebody, who's deaf.
Mm-hmm,
like I to that degree where like this dude was like deaf and probably had been deaf his entire life. He's like, okay, hold on. He's like, mailbox around the corner. He's like, there's another one around the corner. He's like, meet me there. I'm like, okay. So we drive around the corner from our house to this other mailbox. And so he gets out, and sure enough, he opens it up, and there's a box in the parcel thing, and he goes, and he taps the top, like where the key is for that. He taps the top, and it was one number off from my address.
Yeah.
And he just mistakenly had put it in there
box,
in the wrong box around the corner. So, and those people hadn't gotten their mail. Like, I don't even think they've been home for forever.
Oh, geez.
And cause I think they're overseas right now. So like, they're not. So anyway, he like grabs the package. He sees my name. He's like, I'll remember that. Like, I'll remember your name and your address. And I was like, thank you so much. I was so excited. I was like, we solved the mystery. Cause I was like, where did this box go? Like, how did that even happen? And so Krista goes, she's like, my intuition kicked in. She's like, as soon as you got out of the truck to go talk to him, she's like, I randomly had this weird thought in my head. She's like, he's not going to be able to like talk. He's not going to hear you because he's deaf. She had that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, she had that thought first. And I was like, that's weird. Like, why would you
Jeez.
even think that? She's like, I don't know. It just popped into my head. And then on top of that, she's like, Lincoln, if we hadn't left the house to go and to this like vaccine booster appointment that got canceled, and I was like, and gone to Starbucks, because if we hadn't gone to Starbucks and come back, we would have missed him. And I would not have found that. She was like, yeah. So that was like a everything happens for the reason kind of moment. So I do kind of believe in that. And I know that was like, that's not the greatest story in the world, but it was kind of
an example. Yeah.
It's an example of like, I never, like, it would have taken months to find this
Figure
package.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like posting on our community group. I was like, does anybody know where this package is? Nobody's answering because the people whose box it in, they haven't been there. And I'm sure he would have figured it out eventually when they weren't picking up, and he kind of would have looked at it and be like, oh, this isn't even the right address. But yeah, I do feel like your traumatic, experience. I hope it leads to something good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm definitely going to make use of this time now and be very thankful for it and just refill the good karma cup, because I clearly used all my good karma up on that experience. So I've got to get to work on refilling it.
I don't think you used all of it, but you definitely you definitely had somebody looking out for you.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because
how it all came to be is just like, it was probably within seconds of not being able to hang on any longer.
Oh my God.
By the time that guy got to me. And then another thing I was thinking too, at the experience of why it was so, like, I've been in bad car accidents, I've had bad sports injuries, and when accidents or situations like that happen, it's quick. You don't have time to think about it. This, I'm literally hanging on for dear life for 20 minutes with nothing but my thoughts going through my head and thinking this is possibly it, and being stuck with that for 20 minutes or more, however long it was, just constantly going, okay, like, can I try to fall some way that'll give me any chance? And I looked up after, if I'm never going to get myself in that experience, hopefully, knock on wood again. But if I do, I'm always the type, not necessarily a doomsday, like I'm all we'll cut this out.
No.
I'm not always, like, I'm always kind of preparing for things, just like worst case scenario, like what would I do in this type of situation? And obviously rock climbing wasn't one of them. But being in this type of situation, it was the first time that I was like, I don't know what to do. And I think those were the only words I got out, was I don't know what to do. And then when they saw the other people was help, obviously, but being so, just having to be stuck there for that length of time to just think about it and prepare for what could have happened.
I was just going to ask, I'm like, what's your resolve in that moment? Like, when you're literally hanging off the side of this mountain, what do I do?
It was, it's still a lot to process, but it's just, something that'll take a while, I think, to process.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I guess take it for what it is, the lesson in it, and that, don't climb mountains that you're,
I'm not a rock climber.
No,
I'm not invincible.
No. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson of the whole thing, is that you're not, none of us are invincible.
Slow down.
Yes.
Bad things can happen. Take your time.
Use this a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think it through a little bit more thorough, just to, I don't know.
Stay on the guided path.
Yeah. Even if it's not marked, just stay where it's where it's a little bit more flat.
Stay where you see more footprints.
A slight, more footprints. Yeah, it's that whole, like, that the Jesus thing where it's like on the beach, there's two sets of footprints, and then it turns into one because he's carrying me or whatever. Oh, Give me a fucking break. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm really glad that I'm actually really glad that you got to technically be the first guest on this version of the show, and that we got to see each other, because
I'm excited, and thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I would love, I mean, I want to have you back and hear more about
Definitely.
other stuff that you hear more. Well, we can talk more
Flame stuff.
Well, yeah, you better bring your jersey next time.
I will.
Yeah, we'll get together again and we'll talk more hockey stuff, because I like
get the chirps going.
Oh yeah, we'll get the chirps going for sure. Maybe okay. If we do end up getting a Battle of Alberta like playoff series, maybe we'll get together and we'll like live stream it, like put together
that
a
would be
watch
awesome.
party and and live stream the whole thing.
For sure.
Because that'll get rowdy. Oh boy. But that would be fun.
That would be definitely something.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're okay, and I'm glad that I'm
you.
just glad that you're back. Oh my God, you know what we didn't talk about at all?
What?
Oh, we'll have to save that for a different episode.
Part 2?
Yeah, we didn't talk about Ghostbusters at all.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, we didn't talk about Ghostbusters at all. I guess we'll have to. That's next episode. So I will have to have her back, because she was in Ghostbusters. You see her arm briefly. I'm sure there was more footage of you that got cut out.
Don't blink. Yeah, I think there's side face. I didn't use the side I would have preferred, but I think the scene, even though you're
good looking from both sides, it's fine.
Thank you.
No, but yeah, it's one of the like earth shaking
in the sheriff's office.
Yeah, you're in the sheriff's office, and you're like a
during
clerk.
the earthquake.
You're a clerk or
clerk,
something. Yeah, file clerk. And then there's like timbits that are falling down, which is kind of
Canadian Easter eggs that Jason Reitman threw in there.
Yeah, which is funny that because it's like, where else are they going to get timbits?
It's supposed to be in Oklahoma, so what are timbits doing there? So I think it's a little ode to Canada. And
maybe they have Dunkin' Donuts, I guess, and they've got like those donut hole
little
things.
Ones.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. So yeah, I guess we will have to do another episode, because I want to talk to you about. I need to hear, now that Ghostbusters is out, you can tell me all of the stuff, because both of us are not under NDA. So we can we can talk about everything now. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah. I guess I have to have you back like immediately. What am I talking about? Okay. So yeah, stay tuned for part 2 with Amanda, where we talk about Ghostbusters instead of hockey. But again, thank you so much for coming out to do this.
I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being my first therapy session on that incident.
Yeah. I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy that again, I'm happy you're okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you talk to somebody that's more
qualified.
Yeah, I wouldn't count myself qualified to talk you through that trauma. And on that note, this has been This Will Never Work. I'm Lincoln.
I'm Amanda.
Let's try again tomorrow.
Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and well, it sucks. So welcome.